Hello, welcome to the Yarn and Yarns YouTube channel. My name is Angela and all of the places you can find me should be linked in the description box just below this video. Welcome to day one of the 2019 12 cast-ons of Christmas. It is time to get going on my first project and I am super excited. I don't know if you can tell. If you watched yesterday's video, you will know that a lot of the projects that I'm casting on this year have some sort of element of friendship attached to them. So I'm either going to be knitting with yarns or patterns that were gifted to me, given to me in some way or another. And that is certainly true of the first project. So without further ado, let's reveal what it is. I'm going to be knitting a pattern from this book, which is Interpretations Volume 4, published by Pom Pom Press. This is a collaboration that's been going on for quite a few years between Joji Locatelli and Veera Välimäki, and they bring out these pattern booklets where they pick various words or themes and they both then independently design a pattern inspired by that theme. And from this book I am going to cast on this lovely sweater by Joji Locatelli called Radiate. The first project of this year's 12 cast-ons is a sweater. I'm not doing things by half this year's because, spoiler alert, there's going to be a few sweaters. So yeah, I've got my yarn all picked out and ready to go. The project will be living in this project bag that I made for myself a little while ago. My big orange cat fabric is quite a big bag. It will hold quite a few skeins of yarn, which is great. The friendship element comes in straight away. This sweater is knit top down, and for the contrast colour I am going to be using this gorgeous skein from Jenny, who is Owl About Yarn. This is her Happy Owl DK weight yarn, and this was the special colourway from the Cardiff Knit Tea Retreat, not this year but in 2018. Jenny and Zoe both designed lovely patterns that were knit with this yarn, but I never quite got around to casting it on. And then, I don't know how, but a couple of months ago it just occurred to me that I really wanted to use this in a Radiate sweater. So this will be the contrast around the yoke and the neckband. I will be knitting size 54 inches, which I think is the 3XL in the pattern. For that size, I think the meterage required for the contrast colour was slightly more than I had in this one skein, but I put out a little call and several lovely people brought their leftovers to me at this year's retreat. So I have this full skein and I have a little bit of extra to keep me going, which is perfect because I also don't have quite enough of my main colour according to the pattern, but I'm just going to launch in, and if I need to do contrast ribbing for the sleeves or do shorter sleeves, then hopefully I will have some of this extra now that lots of lovely people donated their spares to me, to compensate for the fact that I don't have quite enough in my main colour. For my main colour I'm using this lovely yarn which is Debbie Bliss Rialto DK Heathers in this gorgeous green colour. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this sweater. I think this is a gorgeous colour combination, and I can't wait to see it grow. So without further ado, I guess I better wind some of this up and get started. It's Monday morning and I'm back to report on my progress. How far did I get with my Radiate yesterday? But before I do that, you would have just seen a little bit of footage of me winding up my yarn and knitting yesterday. I managed an epic fail and I didn't actually record the moment that I cast on my first project. I don't know what sort of chronicler I think I am, but not a very good one. I was so excited to cast on, I forgot to actually record the event itself. But never mind, there was some of me knitting. I also want to say a very big thank you to anyone who's already left a comment on the intro video that I popped up yesterday. I also did a review of the projects that I cast on last year, and I'm really happy to know that quite a few of you will be joining in casting on with me. Zoe said when she was watching, Zoe of Pins and Needles, she was casting on a project. Fiona Flourish Fibres said she'll be casting on 6 projects, and the lovely State of Denial, who is also Dueling Needles over on Instagram, has already cast on 3 projects and is going to be joining me for the whole 12. So I'm really excited about that. I hope I didn't miss anyone out. But yeah, if you're casting on while you're watching this, or you're planning to cast on, please let me know what you're going to be making or how many projects you intend to cast on, because I love that. It makes me really happy to know that I'm not alone, and people are out there starting new projects, and the excitement that surrounds that. So yeah, thank you so much. Anyway, with that being said, I am going to show you what I got done on my Radiate yesterday. I managed to get a fair amount of knitting time yesterday. We didn't actually leave the house. We actually spent the day just pottering around at home and trying to clean and tidy up a little bit. James's parents are arriving for the Christmas period today, so we had to change all the beds and do all that kind of stuff. But in between I had plenty of time to sit and knit. So I actually finished the neckband and got started on section 1 of the pattern. So this is my progress so far. As you can see, my main colour has already started to come in. So this is the top of the sweater. Doesn't look like much so far, does it? And it looks a bit small, but it's a bit scrunched up on the needles, so hopefully it will be fine. What I will be doing though is actually frogging back. So as you can see quite clearly on the video, this stitch count here hasn't changed for a while, and the contrast colour, which is the Owl About yarn, is pooling. So I'm getting this one section of dark yarn here and the light over here, and I don't really want that for my sweater. So I'm actually going to frog back to the first row where that green starts to come in, and I am going to alternate the contrast colour skeins, so the Owl About yarn skeins, which will be no problem at all actually, because I've got a few little skeins that people gave to me from their leftovers, and also when I wound up my own skein there was just a random cut in the skein, which might have happened when I cut the ties off. So I've actually ended up with quite a few sort of little balls of yarn, so it will be no problem at all to alternate my skeins and hopefully break up that pooling. I wasn't really paying attention. This is about 10 rows of knitting, I think. I wasn't really paying attention while I was doing it because we started to watch The Witcher on Netflix yesterday and it was quite late. So it wasn't really until I picked this up again this morning and took a look that I noticed the pooling. So yes, unfortunately I'm going to be going back to around here, but that's okay. So it won't be too big a job. But I love how this texture section is looking, and I think I love the variegation up here. There's a lot of short rows on the back, so obviously where the stitch count was changing meant that there was no sort of pooling, just a lovely variegation at the top there. So I'm really happy with how this top section looks. It's just this bottom bit that I need to do something with, and I think the contrast of the green and the purple is going to be lovely, and obviously the green becomes more predominant as we go down the yoke, so we'll transition away from that lovely purple colour and into the green, which will form the main body of the sweater. I've got, for the time being, although this will probably come off, I used this gorgeous snowman progress keeper from Caroline, who is Colourful Creativity. While I was working the short rows, particularly just in the purple, I was finding myself getting lost in terms of which way I was going and what was the right side and the wrong side. So I just popped the snowman on just to remind me which was the right side, so I could more easily keep track of that. So yeah, pretty good progress for day one. I know all days won't be like this. I am going to gather my bits and pieces to begin today's cast on, but first I think I'm going to frog back to where I want to start alternating before this goes back in the bag, so that I am ready to pick it up and start again next time I'm able to get to this project. So yeah, don't forget to let me know what you're casting on below. I'd love to hear, and hopefully I shall see you again very soon for the second day of cast-ons. Until then, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Bye for now.